If you have extra money at the end of the month and you're also carrying debt, this video could save you tens of thousands of dollars, because this is one of the decisions most people get wrong. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, simple way to decide whether to pay off your debt or start investing, and you'll never have to guess at it again. You've probably been in this position before. You have some extra money at the end of the month, maybe the year, and you're not sure what to do with it. Part of you wants to throw it at your debt, get that weight off your shoulders, feel free. But then someone tells you that the market returns around 8 to 10% a year on average, and you wonder, am I actually losing money by not investing? And suddenly, what felt like a simple decision becomes genuinely confusing. I've sat with a lot of people in that exact moment. The reason it feels hard is usually the same. Nobody ever gave them a clear way to think it through. That's what we're going to do today. A simple framework. No guessing, no anxiety, just a clear way to decide whether to pay off debt or invest. Here's what most people do when they have debt and some extra money. They go with their gut. Some people hate having debt. It keeps them up at night. So they pay everything off as fast as they can, sometimes before they have any savings at all. Others hear that investing early is the key to building wealth, so they start putting money into the market while carrying credit card balances at 22%. The problem isn't the instinct, it's that neither person stopped to check the numbers. And when you skip that step, you can end up doing something that feels right and costs you massively over time. The anxiety around this decision usually comes from the feeling that you have to choose between two good things. Paying off debt feels responsible. Investing feels forward-thinking. And nobody wants to pick the wrong one. But this doesn't have to be a gut call. There's a clear, logical way to decide, and it comes down to one comparison. Every dollar you have can only do one job at a time. When you carry debt, it accrues interest. It's costing you money every month. When you invest, your money, hopefully, earns a return. So the question isn't debt or investing, it's which one gives my dollar the better outcome. If your debt is costing you 5% a year and your investments return 8%, you come out ahead by investing. If your debt costs 20% a year and your investments return 8%, pay the debt. You cannot reliably earn 20% in the market, but you can guarantee a 20% return by eliminating a 20% debt. That's the whole framework. It's not emotional, it's comparison. Think of it in 3 buckets. Above 6%, pay it off first. Credit cards, payday loans, mortgages potentially, and high-rate personal loans. These almost certainly cost more than what you'd reliably earn investing. Eliminating them is a guaranteed return. Between 4 and 6%, this is the gray zone. The numbers are genuinely close, and this is where personal circumstances matter. One thing worth noting, if the rate is variable, meaning it can rise, that changes the calculation. A debt that's 5% today could be 7% in 2 years. Factor that in. Splitting the difference, some toward debt, some toward investing, is a perfectly reasonable call in this range. Below 4%, investing is likely the better move. The key point across all of this is simple. Look at your actual rate. Whatever debt you're holding, check the number. That number is what drives the decision. Let me show you what this looks like in real terms, both ways. First, low interest debt. Say you have $300,000 left on a mortgage at 3% with 20 years remaining. You have an extra $500 a month. If you throw that at the mortgage for 10 years, you're going to save roughly $16,000 in interest. Not too bad. However, if you invest that same $500 a month for 10 years at a conservative 7% return, you'd end up with about $86,000. Same $500 a month, same 10 years. The difference is nearly $70,000, purely because of the difference in the rates. High interest debt. Say someone has $8,000 on a credit card at 22%. They have $400 a month available and are wondering, should I invest this money or pay the card down? Here's the case for clearing the card first, and it's pretty straightforward. That 22% interest rate is a guaranteed cost. Every year you carry that balance, it's costing you 22%. The market, by comparison, averages 8 to 10% a year, so that's an average, not a guarantee. You cannot reliably earn 22% a year by investing. But you can guarantee a 22% return by eliminating a 22% debt. And if you only make the minimum payment, around $160 a month, while directing the $400 elsewhere, here's what happens. It takes over 12 years to clear that card. And you'll pay roughly $15,000 in interest over that time. Nearly double what you originally borrowed just to get back to zero. Direct that $400 at the card instead, and you'll clear it in about 25 months. Total interest paid? Around $2,000. You've saved yourself $13,000, money that can now actually go to work for you. That's the case for dealing with high interest debt before you invest. Not because investing is wrong, because a 22% guaranteed loss every year is a thing that needs solving first. One more thing I want to flag, because I see derailing this decision all the time. Before any of this framework applies, you need a basic emergency fund. That's 3 to 6 months of essential expenses sitting somewhere accessible. Here's why. If you throw every spare dollar at your debt, and then your car breaks down, or you get an unexpected medical bill, you go straight back to that credit card. You haven't made any progress, you've just gone in a circle. Years ago, I had a client with a property in the Netherlands. He had a mortgage rate of 1%. 1% on about $1 million of debt. He was throwing every single penny he had every year at that debt, just to get rid of the number. I understood the feeling, but at 1%, he could have left that money in a basic savings account and come out ahead, let alone if he had invested it. Now, if paying down the debt faster helps you sleep at night, that does have some value. But at least be honest with yourself about what that peace of mind is costing you. Sometimes it's the fear of the debt, not the debt itself, that's working against you. So here's where to start. Write down every debt you have and the interest rate on each one. That's it. No spreadsheets, no models. Above 6%, that's where your extra money goes first. Below 4%, invest and pay on schedule. In between, split it or get advice on your specific situation. The decision doesn't have to be complicated. It just needs a clear way to think about it. And now you have one. If this raised a question, drop it in the comments. I read them and it helps shape what I cover next. If you found this useful, subscribe for more clear, practical, personal finance guidance. See you in the next video.